we bought a kit from Flowmaster. I'll show it to you later, but what we want to do is get the pipes to come underneath the transmission crossmember so we can still work on the transmission without having this exhaust to deal with. We bought V-band clamps so that's quick disconnect. We'll have the mufflers supported, and it'll just be piecing it together, trying to get it so it all fits up nice and tight.
Here's the kit. It's just a Summit brand Mandrel bent kit. It's universal. Then we got some Delta Flow 40 series mufflers.
So you'll see how one piece gets welded to one side, one piece gets welded to the other. And then this clamp holds it all tight, and you can just, once you loosen up the clamp, take it apart.
There's actually a taper on here, and the clamp's got a taper, so it pulls them together.
We got the TIG welder, and you know, he's got to get better and better at. This is going to be another project where his skill of welding increases. I'm not even trying doing it.
We had considered stainless exhaust, but I decided to just go with aluminized regular steel. The reason we're putting this on is because this brace we added on the rear end is hitting the exhaust. I didn't see that when I originally did it. So now we're going to have to try to find a path for the tailpipe that clears the brace.
Plus, look at the size of the pipe. It's restricting the, performance of the engine. He's going from 3-inch collector to 2.5, and then it goes down to 2-inch tailpipe. Hopefully we can fit this fat of a pipe and clear all this stuff that's moving without having clunking going on.
2-inch we got with the car, and there's kinks in it and things from when it was bent. And it's a 2-inch inlet outlet muffler, and then it wasn't even centered up with the cross member. So we're going to basically completely redo it from the reducer all the way back. Mufflers on there all kittywampus. We'll get that corrected. See, there's not a whole lot of room in this drive shaft tunnel to be tucking up these pipes, but we're going to do the best we can. And this is going to be a big job. We're going to be cutting bends out of this in little sections and trying to fit it all together to do compound curves. And yeah,
we got the expander. We can cut that away or whatever. But this is it's pretty good size.
Right, you can see that these pipes are expanded, but like you said, we have an expander. We can expand whatever we want. But the package got pretty beat up in shipping because it was heavy.
So you can watch videos that just deal with exhaust. And even though this doesn't have any packing to burn out and stuff, if you listen to MagnaFlow people, they're saying that theirs is a straight shot through it, and you can run like a flow bench tester that goes through these, and they measure, how much just a straight pipe would be, and then they pull through a muffler. Well, a MagnaFlow actually flows more, but I don't like the sound of a MagnaFlow. These things sound really cool, and there's no packing to go bad inside them. I just like the sound of these Flowmasters.
The car sounded really tough, and that's why I procrastinated on this until the very end here. This muffler here is a Delta Flow 40 series. It's the regular, it's not the Super. I looked at the Super, but the case depth was an inch thicker, so I just went with this one for fitment.
Yeah, this is going to take up a lot of space. If you just had glass packs, they take up the least amount of space. You can see where the welds are, where there's little pieces of metal. And the guy that invented this thing, I think his name was Pfluger or something, he was a helicopter pilot, and they wanted to make helicopters quieter so that, you can sneak up on people. They're really loud just with the blades flopping around. But he ended up finding out that you can cancel sound out by using its own wave against itself. So if you can make it come through there and bounce against it, and then just the pulses of waves are fighting against each other, then, like 180 degrees out of cycle, then it'll cancel sound out. Now they got fancy cars that have speakers that are inside the cabin that'll actually find out what noise is going on with tires and wind and stuff like that, and they'll make an opposite and equal sound out of these speakers, and it'll make the inside of your cabin of the car totally quiet.
It's kind of hard to see, but it's just metal in there.
And then you can see the back. Now you can see there's a piece going through here, and then there's these little V's in here, and then there's one up in front. And it just makes the air bash around inside there before it goes out. You can see this is the inlet. It's offset to get you closer to the drive shaft.
But there's a length, width, and a height to the mufflers, and I had measured them before I'd ordered those to make sure we had good fitment. Pretty tough to see in there, but it looks like this is pretty much the same type of muffler we're gonna be putting back on the car, so hopefully it sounds similar.
For all the other viewers out there in TV land will probably just be using a Sawzall.
That's what we should be using. But she's breaking through. We got her. We've shortened up the reducer because the bend has got to happen right after it. And I happen to have a couple of these S-pipes from a previous kit. We're going to be using them.
In order for us to fit in the middle of this U-bender here, this is where this would fit. So then we take the collector, and then you're taking a magic marker, and, well, I got to get this right where you wanted it. So you're getting another idea of how these cars are a labor of love, because just in order to get this far, getting the old exhaust out, cutting these where we wanted, getting this one fit, and we got a bandsaw and stuff. For anybody else to be doing this in a garage where you're just using a bandsaw and stuff, it can all be done, but I'm telling you, it takes a lot of work to get this fitted up properly. When this is all done, it won't be an embarrassment when somebody throws it up on a rack, or if it was at Barrett Jackson going over the camera and the exhaust is all tucked up beautifully and close. That's the way they should be. You've got a guy out in the blind over there. These clamps are, how much are them? $30 a pop?
We're having to cut sections and fit them.
Alright, we're at the situation where we got from the exhaust header to be in the center of this cross member, riding right alongside of the drive shaft and clearance on either side. So we won't have any vibration hitting the floor pan. And it's been a lot of work. We got these nice V-band clamps on there that really made it nice to while we were fabricating. But trying to get all these little pieces made, we had 3 guys here, and well, actually 4. And while we kept the pieces getting cut, then he was welding everything up, and it's been a day. So when we get to beyond the mufflers, trying to route it all around to get around the gas tank and around the suspension, it's going to be a big job.
Pretty happy with how that turned out. We were able to get the weld to lay pretty flat and got perfectly smooth transition. I spent a little time blending the transition from reducer to pipe. I got it pretty smooth out there. I think it'll flow. Getting her all welded up. I put some longer bolts in the back seat belt holes and mounted the mufflers with them. We had to have the mufflers where they're going to be and rigidly mounted before we continue with the tailpipes. And if you're thinking about getting a kit like this and doing it, it's a lot of work. These muffler hangers are most likely going to be temporary. That or it will come straight down onto the pipe once it's installed. And we'll mount it up top with the hangers that were provided, I think, by AMC. So we got these suspension stops that hit the axle, and we put a string across them to have a guideline of what we have to get above with the exhaust. Doesn't really look like anything ever hit these stops. I think maybe the shock might even bottom out before it got that far, but that's going to be our goal. So we're designing the tailpipes now. We're coming out as high as we can because we want to clear this brace that we put on here from the rear end cover to the axle tube. We think we can use this S-bend pipe with expanded end and go right into it, but it's too low. So we're going to cut it and expand it so it's adjustable, and hopefully we can get it right about where we want it. So we expanded the wrong side here, but by the time it's this far out, I don't think it's going to make much difference. We still have 2.5 inches of ID, and we're just going to weld it up. We're running our tailpipes, and we're concerned about the brace on the rear end hitting the tailpipes, so we're going to set it down and bounce it and see if it hits. I'm getting ready to fit these pipes on the headers for the final time, and I decided to try some Spectre header gaskets. It might work good, but I was trying to straighten it out and the other one started crumbling right in my hand, and this one's starting to fall apart a little bit. I'll screw it in there and see how she does though. After 5 sessions of working on it, we finally got the exhaust in. We tried to add a lot of clearance between this bar and this exhaust pipe. I think in an extreme circumstance it still might hit. Hopefully we never get in that situation. This side here we snuck it through between the shock and the tank. We'll have to take it for a test drive and make sure that that doesn't interfere. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. A lot better than what was on there. We've gained a 1/2 inch ID for flow. We have a string across our suspension stops, and we pretty much got that exhaust cleared. Kind of hard to tell, but there's about a 1/2 inch in between there. If I did it again, I would have came off tighter off this muffler, keeping it closer to the floor here, because of the concern about this hitting it. But we bounced on the car pretty good, and that didn't seem to be hitting. Well, the new exhaust is in. This is what she sounds like. We get a little bit of exhaust rattle.